Hi everyone, welcome to Goddess Renaissance. So today, this is the first reading actually that I am uploading to YouTube community. I am actually a professional tarot reader. I've been reading for a good few years now, but I'm just finally making it to the digital world now because I did have a beautiful temple space here in Frome where I'm currently living, and then with the lockdown that is no more sadly, but it means that it's opened up this time and space to create a beautiful YouTube channel and bring readings to anyone in the world who wants to listen. So my name's Danielle and I am a goddess guide and also a holistic coach, and I've created the business Goddess Renaissance. You can check out my website, I'll put all the details below. And I do readings. I'm going to be doing readings on YouTube, usually themed around different goddesses, because part of my business, part of Goddess Renaissance, or the mission behind Goddess Renaissance, is to really reconnect women with their innate inner goddess power. So I'm really all about reintroducing you to the goddess myths and their stories, the beautiful archetypes that they provide for us, but also being able to learn to tap into their energy so you can actually use it to like repower your life. So today's reading is going to be a really special Valentine's Day, Goddess Aphrodite, or Goddess Venus, as she was known in the Greek pantheon. It's Goddess Venus reading for love and for self-love, actually, because that's the most important thing, and that is the number one foundation that you need in order to attract any kind of loving relationship into your life. It's so important to connect with that really deeply abiding sense of self-love first. So I'm going to get into the reading in just a second and see what I'm going to be pulling from a couple of different tarot decks. I've got the beautiful Linestrider tarot, so I'll be pulling from that one. And potentially also I've got a beautiful Jane Austen tarot deck as well, which I might, if there's time, I might pull a couple of cards from that one. And then we've got Goddess Power cards. I always pull an oracle card at the end of my readings. And Goddess Aphrodite guided me today to also pull a chakra card. So I'll also pull a chakra card at the end and see if there's any chakra energies that we need to be having a wee look at. So I'll get into the reading in just a second, but first of all I just wanted to give you a couple of little holistic tips for how to connect with Goddess Aphrodite's energy, especially if for those of you who might be single. A lot of us are not necessarily in a romantic relationship at the moment, and with all this sort of pressure and commercial hype around Valentine's Day, it's often that sort of time of year that people can sometimes fall into like a state of lack or scarcity around love, and noticing suddenly what you don't have, in that sense of like perhaps if you're wanting to manifest a romantic relationship in your life, and it can be very easy just to suddenly be hyper aware because everyone else is having all these beautiful Valentine's Day special meals or whatever it might be, planning things as a couple. And if you're not with someone, or perhaps you've just been through a breakup, or maybe you are in a relationship but it's not going very well or something, that can be quite challenging, and that can bring up a lot, and that can be a time when suddenly we start to notice that discrepancy, and that just feel that gap so much more. Perhaps the rest of the year, you know, especially if it's not a holiday time, it's just normal work time, we might be perfectly fine and perfectly happy just being in a little bubble and actually quite content being in solitude. And then suddenly this commercial holiday comes along, and it can suddenly trigger us to feel a bit in that state of lack. So I don't know if anyone else is in that space, but I was really guided to come on and do this video today. So it's interesting because I wasn't really necessarily planning on doing YouTube videos, just YouTube readings just yet. I've been working with clients online, but Spirit was very clear. Goddess Aphrodite came through very clear this afternoon, was like, get online now, do this video. This message is here for women who, or anyone, not just women, sorry, women or men, anyone who's single or anyone who's feeling a bit perhaps alone or lonely, or suddenly noticing you know, or perhaps you've got a person in mind. You might have a significant person you're really attracted to, and you're not really sure what's going on with that. So that's something we'll dig into in a second in the reading. But just to give you a couple of little tips for how to connect in with Goddess Aphrodite energy. So there's a few different ways, but the primary way with Goddess Aphrodite is one of her big symbols is rose. So anything with roses, like a rose scent, even like it could just be as simple as having a bath with some kind of rose essential oil. I've got this beautiful one from the Psychic Tree, which I'm burning in my oil burner at the moment. It smells amazing. So you can order that online. Even rose petals, or even from some supermarkets now, actually, you can buy various rose flavored things, or rose petals that you can actually put into your bath just to give it a bit of rose scent, or rose bubble bath if you can find that. Or if you've got dried flowers, I sometimes, if I've ever got roses, then I've dried them out and I keep the petals, and you can sprinkle them through your bath. So essential oil, any kind of rose scent, that type of thing, and having a bath with it, and just really getting into that energy, that beautiful rose energy, because that is an energy that helps us to tap into our heart chakra and into our heart energy, and it helps us tap into that very feminine energy as well, and that Goddess Aphrodite energy, and it helps us feel really goddessy and really beautiful and like a rose, and really like sort of, it's just like a really beautiful self-care ritual to do. Another little tip is rose quartz crystals. So it's not, I don't know, some of you might be new to crystals and you might just be thinking, what even is that? What is it going to do? So because each crystal has a different kind of frequency, because it's from the earth, and they contain different frequencies for different things that help us with different things. And a lot of this type of healing knowledge was around for centuries, and it kind of got buried for a while, but it's now starting to come back up in a big way. So crystals can be really healing for our energy field. So just the best thing to do is to actually carry it on you, or wear it as jewelry in some way. The closer you have it to your body, the better. But rose quartz in particular is another one that's really beautiful for heart chakra, and for really coming, again, helping you manifest a state of self-love. And it's especially at the moment, if you are being a little bit triggered by this holiday, or just noticing you're not, maybe you're just starting to think, actually, do you know what, I have been single for a while, and that's okay, and that's been great, but I would quite like to manifest a relationship now. Or maybe you are in a state where you want to really just work on your self-love. Maybe you've come out of a relationship and you're feeling a bit low in the self-love on that spectrum, and you just think, actually, that needs a little bit of work before I start connecting with anyone else again. I really need to work on myself. And so the rose quartz crystal is absolutely beautiful for that. It's really about coming into a state of self-love first and foremost, before we do anything else, or try to get into any kind of intimate relationship. It's so important to really root and anchor in that state of self-love first and foremost. So rose quartz is a great one. I'll put all the details of these few little things that you can do to help connect into that deeply abiding sense of self-love below. But for now, let's get into the reading. So let's see. So we'll start with the Linestrider cards, the tarot deck. So I'll pull a few tarot cards today, depending on whatever message that Goddess Aphrodite wants to bring through me. And then we shall see where it all leads. So it's just going to be, I'm not going to do like pick a card or anything. I will start doing those on my channel though, so if you keep following me. By the way, this is a timeless reading, so even if you're not watching this on Valentine's Day, it doesn't matter. Whenever you find it, that is when it's meant to be for you. A couple of cards there so far. So normally what I like to do is just pull a few cards first, and then kind of sit for a second and see what the story it is that is coming through the cards, what it's actually telling me. So I'll pull a few and see what happens. Let's get one more, please, Goddess Venus. One more card. Woo! Okay, we got two. One of these swords. Okay. So let's have a wee look. Just going to sit with the cards for just a moment. This is normally what I would do if I do a reading in person with you. So that's another thing, just before I start onto the reading, I just feel guided to tell you, if you are feeling like you would like a private reading this time, because obviously I'm reading general collective energies at the moment, so some information may or may not resonate for you. But if you've got a particular situation going on, whether it's related to love or anything else, I do general readings as well, related to career and self-empowerment and so forth. But if you're feeling like you would like a private session, then I do offer those, and again, they're on my website, so all the details are below. Okay, so we have, to begin with, we've got the Emperor, and followed by Ace of Cups and the Devil. So I feel like whoever might be drawn to this reading, whenever you're drawn to it, again, it's timeless, so it doesn't have to be related to this particular date, but there has quite possibly been a situation that the Emperor can sometimes speak of a character in your life that might have been a little bit authoritarian or controlling, or sort of maybe like it could be sort of a boss figure or a father figure or something like that. So it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but in this case, probably if you're drawn to this Goddess Aphrodite reading, it's most likely going to be about a love situation. So I feel like that person, I'm hearing, it's kind of like they perhaps embodied that father energy. So it might be that there was a certain dynamic that you had growing up, and this particular person in your life that you've been with or that you're asking about, but I sense it's like possibly a relationship in the past that you've come out of, and with this character, and he's quite strong-willed, and it's followed by the Eight of Cups, which usually means the cups are to do with emotional fulfillment, and love and so forth. And Eight of Cups, as you can see from this card, this man who's walking away with a backpack, and there's sort of smoke. It's kind of like you're taking your love, you're taking your emotion, and you're withdrawing your investment. You've packed up your bags and you're leaving it, or you're thinking about leaving it. And it's followed by the Devil card, which sometimes these types of cards can be really, really scary, because they you hear the word the devil and it's like, oh my God, what does that mean? And it does look quite scary as well, but it usually just means, especially in a relationship situation, an addictive type energy. The Devil card often speaks of some kind of addiction, or some kind of attachment, or some kind of just bondage to something. I think with these, especially it's interesting with this, I was guided to use this particular deck, and in other decks it doesn't always show, it often shows a couple. To be fair, it often does show two people that are bonded together, but in this deck in particular, it's very like that they're literally just tied together, but they're facing away from each other. So it's like they're stuck together, but they don't really want to be together, or that there's so much triggering going on. There's so much sort of addictive energy. It might speak of a trauma bond. So I won't go into that too much now. This reading will get really long, but I'll put some details below about what trauma bondage is versus like a true sort of soul bond. But that is unfortunately happening. I've noticed it's come up in a few of the private readings I've done, as a result of, since the pandemic, and often people being locked down together for long periods of time, and suddenly having all their stuff kind of come to the surface, and then noticing that they're perhaps in relationships that are just might be quite addictive, or quite controlling, or quite toxic in some way. So I feel like that's speaking to this. But you're in the process of kind of cutting those ties, I feel like, and walking away from that. And that's confirmed next one. We've got this beautiful card here of the Nine of Pentacles. I absolutely love this card. It's so lush. It's so like the woman. It's quite close to the Empress energy, where, she's sort of in this very abundant state. So, and it's very sort of single ladies, and I know this is quite unusual, actually. We're getting all this kind of single person energy coming through for this reading. It feels sort of less like it's a love reading in a sense, and more of a like self-empowerment reading, which is also the energy of Aphrodite as well, because she does stand for that, and that sense of self-love and being whole and loving in and of yourself anyway, regardless of whether you're in a relationship. So that's sort of her message here with the Nine of Pentacles, that the pentacles stand for earth energy, and for like material abundance and money and wealth and things like that, but also just a sense of inner abundance and coming into a state of feeling enough in and of yourself. So you can see you've got the owl there as well, and the grapes. So the owl is kind of wisdom, and there's a lot of purple energy in this card, which often speaks of a sense of sovereignty. It's that royal color, the color purple. So it's very much like whatever you've walked away from, you're now doing it so that you can come into this sense of Nine of Pentacles, which is really beautiful. That completely just whole and tapped in and abundant, and I'm good on my own. Like I've got me, I've got whatever else it is, my wonderful career, or perhaps you're building something, or your hobbies, or a great group of friends, or whatever it might be. You're just feeling that sense of abundance. So even if you're not necessarily rolling in dough, it doesn't have to be exactly physical material possessions, but it speaks of that type of energy. This is followed by the Death card. Now again, this is another one like the Devil card. We've got lots of major arcana cards here today. So the major arcana cards are these ones that don't have like the numbers, like the Eight of Cups and so forth. So it's just a theme. So we've got the Emperor, the Devil, and the Death card. So 3 major arcana cards, which is quite big. So the Death card is again, it can sound really scary, and it looks sort of scary because you've got the skull there, but actually if you look at all the colors that are coming through, I don't know if you can see, it's not focusing very well. Focus, there we go. You can sort of see that there's like little birds and butterflies and color, like beautiful bright, and flowers growing through, and it's very much saying, and this card came out right underneath the Eight of Cups, so it's very much saying whatever you've let go of and had to walk away from, and whatever ties you've had to cut or you're thinking of cutting, that is going to lead to your like death and rebirth. Like you've had to go through this death. Some of you might be at different, because this is a general reading, take what resonates. Some of you might be at a different stage of that process. You might be coming out of it and be going into more of the rebirth stage, and some of you might be in more of the I guess like you're only just starting to go in it. You're just having to go through the descent right now as you're walking away from something, or leaving something behind, or something's ended. But it's very much that card of hope, that whatever has had to end, whatever has closed out, whatever cycle has finished, that and again, this could be that the relationship hasn't completely come to an end itself. You might still be together, but the cycle, the perhaps addictive nature of it, or controlling nature of it, or whatever was going wrong in the past cycle of that relationship is now closing out. It's dying away. There's a death process that's happening, and you're rebirthing it, or you're rebirthing yourself. I feel like it's, for perhaps more of you, it might be that it's you have actually completely walked away from something, you've withdrawn your energy, you've come into this sort of single life energy, you're coming back into yourself, and you're going through your own rebirth. And that's a really powerful thing, and that's something that actually I'm not going to go into this too much, I'll put details below, but it's also something that I work with a lot of women on. If you're stuck in any kind of toxic dynamic, particularly a narcissistic type relationship, or other type of controlling or toxic relationship, I can work with you to help you set strong boundaries and re-empower yourself off the back of those types of breakups, because they can be extremely extremely painful to go through, quite a process to rebirth yourself. But it absolutely is possible to use that energy and sort of like almost like die to the old version of yourself, the version that got into that toxic or addictive dynamic, and come into a state of just almost like a phoenix, like just literally rebirth yourself, and use all that energy, use all that pain, and use that as fertilizer for your growth, which is exactly the message of the Death card. And that's where you can sort of see the skull, but there's this growth that's coming out of the skull. So it's not quite, it seems scary on the surface, but it's really an actually really beautiful card and a really hopeful message. And it's followed by Nine of Wands. Now, Nine of Wands, I love this card actually, even though sometimes it can be seen as sort of like a not necessarily a negative card. No cards are really negative actually, but it's the card before the Ten of Wands, which is often when someone's completely burdened. But the Nine of Wands is the way I like to read it, especially in this deck with the fox. You can see in there, he's been in a fight, you know, and this is right underneath the Devil. So whoever this is resonating for, you might have been in quite a toxic situation. You know, you're either in it now, or you've been in it, or you've come out, you've managed to get yourself out of it and completely walk away, and you've been through the ringer. You know, the nine is like, again, you've got Nine of Pentacles and then Nine of Wands. So 2 9, so like the 9 is like the cusp of something. It's like you're not quite fully in the number 10, but you're, you know, the number 9, so you're 90% there, sort of thing. That's the kind of energy of it. And it's like you've fought your fight, but you're still standing. You've still got a bit of energy to kind of walk away, you know, with your head held high. You've done the plucky thing, you know, out of this death situation, out of this whatever it might be, the toxic situation. You've managed to like come out with yourself just intact, you know, just enough of yourself intact to be able to get out. Because I feel like, you know, he's got the bandage around his head, and he's got these, you know, the wands behind, or the, you know, the like he's holding wands of wood, sort of thing. Like it's like you've been carrying a burden for quite some time, and he's got them sort of propped up, so there's still a bit like leaning against him. So it might be that whatever you're doing, that you're in a process of, I feel like I'm sort of feeling like someone's sort of having to set boundaries, and you're in that process now of you're trying to put some strong boundaries up, because he's kind of there, and he's got his bandage on, so he's been in a bit of a fight, but he's just like managing to keep things at bay for now. But there's a bit of a, you know, with the wands kind of just leaning against him or in front of him, he's kind of like, okay, I just need to stand back a little bit right now, like just give me a minute, you know, I've just been through this fight. But it's followed by the Ace of Swords, which is the eagle, and swords speaks of generally like the mental body and thoughts and ideas and decisions and that logic and needing to make a clear cut. It's very because you can see with the sword behind the eagle, it's like, right, this is my path, this is what I'm doing, this is my, and also an ace is the new beginning card, so it's like, this is my new beginning. So you are starting anew, really, which is very, like, it's interesting. You've got the Eight of Cups first, so you've walked away from something, you've got the death and rebirth, you're going through a rebirth, and then you're starting again. You're making this new, you've got this new beginning coming to you as a result of that process, I feel like, of the going through the death and the rebirth. So that's the tarot aspect. I think I'm just going to leave it there for that, and then I'm going to pull a couple of oracle cards for you. So I'll pull actually I'll start with the chakra one, because I was guided to use this deck. So this is the chakra reading cards by Rachelle Charman. It's really beautiful. So chakras are for those of you who are not aware, apologies if you already know all this, that's great. But chakras are the energy centers in your body, and you have 7 main chakras, starting with your root chakra, going all the way up. And each of those energy centers governs different things. And when the idea is to try and get them into balance as much as possible, because when they're overstimulated or understimulated, they can sometimes cause a bit of havoc in our life. So they can lead to things like anxiety and so forth. Because everything is energy. Albert Einstein said that. It's literally the case. Everything is energy. We're all energy. So Let's see what, oh my goodness, how appropriate for Valentine's Day to get the love card. Wow, beautiful. Such lovely energy. Yeah, and I feel like this kind of speaks of, you know, coming like that self-love really first. Again, like that's probably why I was talking about that at the beginning. But I'm going to read you a little bit from the book. So number 18, Heart Chakra Love. Yeah, you've called upon this card today as a reminder that love is all you need. Your true essence and every single cell in your being vibrates to the powerful essence of love. Wow, this is interesting. You may be going through a challenging time at present, such as a relationship breakup. What did I say at the beginning? My gosh, I love it. It's amazing when these oracle cards come out. They're like usually bang on, exactly matching the tarot. So challenging times such as a relationship breakup, a challenging family situation, friendship breakdown, or some personal challenges. Pulling this card today is a reminder that love is the key to your current situation. It's time to bring the focus back to love and to what is important and true for you. Love is the biggest healer of all and has the power to create miracles in your life. It is very easy to sway from the essence of love, especially in our crazy, fast-paced lives. Very true. But you can never venture too far from this powerful essence because you are love. It resonates in every cell of your being. It's time to open and allow this energy to flow into your world and into those challenges you are experiencing. Do what is required to become open to this love. Do what you need. Do you need some time for you, a holiday, a change of job, a deep, honest conversation with someone? Whatever it is, gift yourself that time and space with love. No matter what someone has or hasn't done, including yourself, we are all deserving of love in all its forms. If you feel that you sometimes have a tendency to close off from love, this card is an indication that it's time to open that beautiful heart of yours and allow yourself to receive. You are truly deserving of deep love, and now is the time for you to dance with this essence and believe you are worthy of it. Remember also that the most important form of love is self-love. What did I say before? What did I say at the beginning? It's literally echoing that. It's amazing. Ask yourself, what part of me have I not been loving? And take some time to give this aspect of you some good old nurturing. Absolutely. Love is the medicine for the soul and of life. This card can also reflect that you've been opening more to love and that it's time to meet that special person to share a loving connection with, possibly a soulmate or twin flame. And the affirmation is, I am love and love is me. So that's something you can take away and actually start to say to yourself if you find yourself falling into that lack mode or feeling like something's missing, or you're just going through a lot of pain at the moment, from if you are going through a breakup or you've been through something like that, you can say, I am love and love is me, and just keep repeating it to yourself. You can write it down multiple times, script it, bring it into your life, bring it to life. You know, draw yourself a bath, put some rose oil, put some rose petals, and just keep repeating for the 15 minutes you're in the bath. Just breathe in, I am love, breathe out, love is me, like that, and you'll start to, it takes a bit of time, especially if you have been through some kind of trauma bond or toxic attachment or painful breakup or something like that. It does take a little bit of time to heal from that and come into that state, but all those things that I mentioned are all definitely things that you can do to help really tap into that energy of self-love, and rather than just struggling around feeling like you're just swimming in the open sea and just like, when I don't know how to do that, I can't, it's too much, or I just don't feel it, or whatever. There's actual practical tips. I'm a Taurus, by the way, so I love actual physical material, practical things you can see and taste and touch and hear as well, even though I do tarot readings and I'm a psychic as well, and I deal with that world. That's my Scorpio rising side. I very much like tangible things, practical things that I can actually do in my life on a day-to-day basis, little rituals and things, and they actually work. They genuinely do. You've got to commit to it, so it is a process of committing to yourself, but you genuinely can, the more you do that kind of thing, carrying rose quartz crystal with you, saying I am love every day, it's hard not to eventually kind of catch that energy in a sense and start to embody it. So it absolutely is possible if you've been through something. So I'm just going to pull the last card from this beautiful Goddess Power card deck that I got from this amazing lady in, I forget exactly where she was now. It might be, I think it was Ibiza she's in, but I can put the details below if you're interested in the deck, because it is lush. So, so beautiful. And with this like goddess reawakening that's happening on the planet at the moment, so many people are going to be interested in goddess cards. So, whoops, this one wanted to come out, I think. Here we go. Who have we got? Wow, Athena. Beautiful. Truth, wisdom, strategy, and intuition. Trust yourself and focus. Absolutely. There's Athena. Sorry, it's a little bit, the focus isn't great when I go up close. But, and it's interesting because the card, each of these goddess power cards are connected with tarot as well, and the card is the Emperor. And I feel like what that's saying is it's also connected with this Ace of Swords of like coming into that state of truth within ourselves and like really embodying that sense of self-trust and like what is the best for me, what is the right course of action for me, what do I need to do in my life, what do I need to cut away in order to like, basically I'm hearing like save myself. So someone might be really still in that kind of situation where you're like, what have I got to deal with to put myself first and save myself? And if you call on Goddess Athena, she will help you tap into that energy. She'll help you become that emperor for yourself, so that if you are in a situation where you're bound to someone, where perhaps you've subconsciously attracted someone like that because you feel like you need that energy in your life, and there was a part of you that was perhaps not consciously wanting to be controlled, obviously, but wanting to sort of give over your power in a sense to in exchange for something, in exchange for love or something else. It's like, well, if I give this over, then I can have this strong masculine presence in my life. It doesn't have to be a man, it can just be a masculine energy within a man or a woman. But if I feel like with this card with Athena, she's very much embodies that yin yang. She's a beautiful goddess as well. She's often portrayed as this goddess of war, but she's so much more than that. She's really, really beautiful, intuitive goddess energy as well that you can absolutely tap into. It's that yin yang energy, but it's like drawing on that sense of how do you need to show up for you? How do you need to be an emperor in your life? Like, how do you need to rule over your empire? What do you need to do to focus and make some decisions and cut some things away and look after yourself? And that can often be quite a challenge after if you have been through anything, especially if it's toxic, or especially if there was any kind of gaslighting or any of that type of stuff involved. It's really difficult to trust yourself, right? It's really difficult to find that sense of what is reality sometimes, and what because you've often been told you're so wrong, that trying to find, well, should I do this, should I go that way, should I do this, should I try that, I don't know, I'm not really sure anymore, So if you are in that state at the moment, call on Athena, because she helps you recenter that intuition and that self-trust, and like creating a strategy for yourself and coming back within and tuning out what everyone else is saying, not externalizing, not running around looking for answers from loads of different other people, just like coming back within and centering on your own truth and what is right for you. So my darlings, this is getting a little bit long. It's at 34 minutes, and I promised I was going to do probably a lot less than that, but that's fine. It's my first reading. So I am going to be continuing to upload readings on the channel. Let me know below if this resonated for you, or if there's any particular type of reading you'd like to see. I'll mix it up a bit. There'll be different goddess ones with different themes. There'll be some picker cards. So I'll be posting a few on there. So check out my website, goddessrenaissance.world. I'll put all the details below, and I'll leave it there. And happy Valentine's Day, happy self-love day, and all the best, sending beautiful goddess love and light to you. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.